when you came and you were half expecting chiropractic adjustments and you didn't get any of that, what was your impression like, or what were you
Well,
thinking?
of course, you asked a lot of questions, right? And then one thing that you asked was, what do you want to achieve, right? And what I thought was interesting was, and of course, no chiro will ask this question, right? When you asked, what activities do you want to do? What's your lifestyle like, right? And I thought that was very interesting because, of course, at the top of your head, you just want to get rid of pain, right? But unbeknownst to me, of course, a lot of that is related to what activities you do. If you live a very sedentary lifestyle, of course, your body should be primed very differently from if you lead a lifestyle that's very active and you carry weights and so on, right? So yeah, so that was the start. But then, of course, when you started to ask a lot of questions, yeah, I wasn't sure where this was going, right? But then I think the first thing came when you gave me a very, very simple exercise on the neck, right? Which immediately seemed to hit the spot at somewhere inside the neck. And you showed me a picture of a cross section of the neck muscles, right? Then I realized, oh my goodness, I've never had that kind of something so simple but so effective, right? That's when I realized, oh, okay, so this is interesting. Let's see how this goes, and let's see where this goes, right? And so that's when I realized, okay, that piqued my interest even more to see how this would heal me, because somehow it was just hitting the right spots.
Yep. Were you disappointed in the first few sessions? Because in your case specifically, if anything, we made your symptoms worse.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't disappointed more in the sessions. I was disappointed more in myself, right? You like give yourself a real hard time, right? You're like, because the pain escalated, I have to say, to the point where sometimes it was just so unbearable. I couldn't even sit still because the pain was just so unbearable, right? And this is pain that's so deep inside the body, like your nerves are really, one part of the body was really this thing. And so, yeah, I think I couldn't understand that trajectory for healing, right? Because of course, your first thought is after one session at the chiro or at the TCM, you come back out feeling great. In this case, you come back out, right? And when then seeing your pain progressively worsen, right? And this, where did this make sense? So of course, your expectations versus reality is so different. And so that's what I struggled the most with, I think.
Yeah. How do you overcome it? Because most people would just not come back.
Yeah, I think for me, of course, you sent me some articles to talk about how the pathway to healing is not necessarily a straight line. So I had to keep reminding myself that, if one day things improve and then the next day things started to feel pain, right, that it wasn't a regression in terms of my progress, right? I think that was a very critical element for me to stick to it, because I remember after the first session, I think we were doing it every week. Yeah, every week, weekly sessions, right? I think after the first session, right, there was a point where the pain just really, really peaked and I really couldn't bear. The next day, suddenly it just disappeared. Suddenly things, oh my goodness, I woke up one morning and I thought, hey, how come the thing just suddenly like so much better, right? And for me, the simple exercises, basically, I noticed, right, increased my ability to do some of the lifting that I was doing much better. I somehow just felt more integrated, more coordinated, right? And I think that's where, for me, I realized, okay, this is an interesting, and this, I seem to be making progress, although it's in zigzags, right? But I seem to be making progress. So that's what really kept me committed to it.
Do you find it value for money? Because it's not cheap.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, right? And so if you're looking at really resolving the issue once and for all, and for me, it's having a better quality of life, right? To support whatever you need to do without waking up with aches and pains and so on, right? And yeah, of course, at the end of the day, you have to earn your keep as well, and with all your knowledge and your research and so on, right? So for me, yes, one thing for sure for me is very good is that I don't need to go back to a TCM. I don't need to look for a chiro. I don't need to do anything. For me, that's a big change.
Yeah. Do you used to do it regularly?
Yeah, the TCM one, I don't know whether you heard of this cupping thing, right?
Yeah.
She basically puts needles and then she pulls out blood,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's an instant release. Oh, like somehow it feels a lot better, right? But after about a month, they always talk about maintenance, right? You got to go back for maintenance, right? So yeah, haven't had the need for that, because for me this is more going into the root, right? The fundamental, the cause for fixing that.
Yeah, good to know that you found value in it, and yeah, and I guess a lot of times when people look at choosing treatments and maybe the cost associated with treatments, most people forget to factor in things like opportunity cost. So we're talking about quality of life, work productivity, well-being, things like that. And of course, there is also the part where a recurring cost of regular maintenance style of treatments like TCM, chiro, or even massage. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. That's really helpful for me.